Welcome to Horror Makes Us Happy, the podcast where we ask the question, what is it about horror that makes us happy? Your hosts are Steve Becker and myself, Chris Whitman, and you can find out more about us at our website, horrormakesushappy.com. We have a link tree there with links to all our other social endeavors, like our projects, Steve's book, my comic, our Discord server, and also we will have a link to the bio for our guest today.
Yes.
But before we get into all of that, this is a horror podcast. We talk about horror things, so we could delve into sensitive subjects. There will be curses words. We've kind of already broken that one, but now we got the disclaimer. Now we can say fuck. And we may discuss sensitive subjects, so that's
on you at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, you found a horror podcast. What did you expect?
Yes. Today we were talking to Alyss Winkler, actress, artist, and producer, best known for her work with Blank Face, The Bad Man, Violet, and Space Babes from Outer Space. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. I love all those movies.
Yes.
They are pretty good movies.
I forgot to say before we started rolling here that so Chris is actually the big horror fan of the podcast. I'm more the psychology buff. And so you were all happy that I mentioned Violet. You can thank Chris for that. He's the one who has seen and owns a copy of it.
And I think I was a producer on Violet. Producer or EP. I donated.
Like
Thank you so much for being on that.
Yeah. Love Sam's movies. They're great.
That film holds a special place in my heart for what it did for me and what it is in general.
I'm sorry, for a split second there, I was about to stop you and say, did you say Sam? But I just realized, Sam Venisi, not Scott Shermer. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Sam Venisi who did that film. And he actually retired from making movies sometime after that.
Yeah. I thought as much. I've tried to keep an eye out for him and keep tabs on him, and he just kind of like disappeared.
He's just kind of enjoying his own life, and it's well deserved. He's a hardworking kid. He deserves to have a good life.
Yes, to both things. He's enjoying his own life, and he's a hardworking kid. And I think what happened was he just poured everything he had into every one of his movies. And after a while, he didn't like shut down or anything, but he was like, you know what? I need a break. I need to just be a person for a while. I'm going to go do that.
It gets hard. I mean, from an actor's standpoint, when you pour yourself into so many films, you just stop having time for your own life. I have a good actress friend of mine who does movie after movie after movie, and she just doesn't have time for herself.
No.
I tend to space mine out. I do maybe a handful a year, which allows me to do my small business, allows me to continue my own work from home and travel with my partners.
It's not just the time aspect. I kind of got from Sam was that, when you say he was pouring himself into it, there's also the, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say boundary, but like the stuff he was doing was also extremely personal and,
yes,
needing space to
heavy subjects.
Yeah. Which if you don't compartmentalize it well enough, obviously that can be an issue that needs to be addressed as well. So
that's one of the things about Violet. With Violet's subject matter, it was a very personal and deep thing for me to do because I resonated so well with that character and her traumas. So for me, that film was actually quite healing to be her and go through those feelings in her head. I actually have the hard drive of Violet here in my home. Sam mailed it to me, so eventually I can put it back into distribution.
Cool.
I feel it is an important film to do it, and also a good warning film for young actresses or aspiring actresses in the scene, considering the subject matter.
Yes. However, that is a different topic for today's call. We actually the process of these interviews, we talk less about your body of work and more about what you yourself have been a fan of. We also Sam was one of our first guests in our first season. But that said, is not meant to be a therapy session. So if there's anything that we ask that you don't want to answer, you just say pass and we'll move on.
You're good.
Starting with childhood, what were some of your earliest memories of scary things?
So my mother is a huge horror fan, and I grew up with horror being in my life pretty early. Between my mom watching classic monster films and being obsessed with like the X-Files growing up. I mean, for goodness sake, our pets were named Mulder and Scully. Wow, I can't believe I combined those two. Thanks, dyslexia.
Right.
That happens. But we had like horror posters all over the house and horror books. My mom was just an enormous fan. I mean, even my childhood stories, the bedtime stories my mom read me, were the original Hans Christian Andersen tales. So of The Little Mermaid, where she gets her tail split in two and every day is painful for her. Like, I had these things read to me as a child.
Okay.
So I was pretty much raised with it. And my mom, being a big fan of special effects makeup and doing things like that, helped me have the coolest Halloweens, making my costumes. When I became older, she helped me make cosplays to go to horror conventions. And
Cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
We'll get to the Halloween stuff here in a minute. Want to back up a minute for the classic horror films. Does any one in particular stand out to you?
I remember a lot of Hammer films being around when I was little. Anything with Vincent Price in it, essentially. The one, it's not considered a classic film, but for me, being a young child, I remember her having Dracula, the newer one with, what is it, Gary Oldman?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that poster terrifying me as a child because she had an enormous movie size one from working in a video store. And it was framed and up on the wall, and it had him in all his forms. And it was just haunting to look at. Or Phantasm. She had that vintage clock that someone just gave her, which nowadays I learned that clock is probably $300 on eBay. And back then someone was just going to throw it away. And she kept onto it. And his face staring through the background of that clock gave me nightmares.
Tall man.
Yeah.
I don't remember a clock in Phantasm. Was it like a grandfather clock?
It wasn't in it. It was a promotional thing. So it had the little spikes from the ball on it as the clock hands, and it had his face in the background of it. Nice. And it was a promotional thing that came when the movie came out. But we had a lot of stuff like that hanging around. But I remember a lot of Vincent Price and the Hammer films playing when I was little.
How about X-Files? Any particular X-Files episode stand out to you?
Oh, goodness. Not right off the bat. The only one I can remember right off my head is the creepy gentleman that could stretch through the vents in the chimney.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
I recall that.
That's the one that always comes to mind, and I can't remember if that was when I was a kid or a little bit older. I remember it making me so creeped out.
I think it was the moistness of the dude. Wasn't he like always like wet or something?
Rubbery and slick.
Rubbery. Yeah, it was like somebody looked at a Stretch Armstrong and they're like, how can I make this just traumatizing?
Yes, exactly.
I just had to Google it to refresh my memory what he looked like. I vaguely
He's haunting.
Okay, let's see. How about a particular Vincent Price movie? Anyone stand out to you there?
House on Haunted Hill.
Was he in
the original one? Yeah.
Yes, the original.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Be 1959. That's when that came out. And they did it in black and white, and then they did a colorized version. Which I actually found a VHS for the colorized version. I am stuttering today. I'm so sorry. The colorized version yesterday on VHS.
Cool.
The V's were trying to trip me up.
Yes. Those are tricky. Do you still have a working VHS player?
One of my partners does. He collects VHS, and it has given me... It's like a treasure hunt for me. I can go find these horror VHS tapes and then text and go, hey, do you have this one? And then pick it up.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've got one or two that I inherited from my father packed up somewhere. I've got to go.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't even know if they work.
It's become really popular again, and I really love that.
Yeah, people start doing like the classic like plastic clamshell cases on them too. Love it.
Same thing with cassettes too.
Yeah.
So a lot of our guests have said that there was a dividing line where prior to the dividing line, they were afraid of horror. And then after the dividing line, they enjoyed it. Was it like that for you, or was it always enjoyment?
When I was a kid, horror was pretty scary. I mean, as it should be. But probably once I started getting into my preteens, I became a lot more interested. It became more fantastic to me, the fantasy of it. And then my mother sitting down and breaking down the special effects with me and finding little things in a movie that kind of took you out of the film enough to show you it wasn't real. So in some of the original Evil Dead footage, you'll see the wires in the background, or you'll see how they're spinning the character in the air, and that's just them being suspended. They're not flying. It's not digitally done that way. They're just an actor being suspended from the ceiling. Same thing with, I believe it is Jurassic Park: The Lost World. So the second one, when they're on the island, when the dinosaurs start tearing down the encampment with everybody in it, you'll see the Triceratops bulldoze through the tent. If you stop that frame by frame, you'll actually see the truck that the head is hooked up to. And being able to sit as a teenager and learn this, it was just fascinating to me. I was so excited. And it made it cooler. It made me want to watch more of it. It made me get into the storylines of it. And then I started reading more and more books and started getting into more like monster series and Satanic Panic style stuff, like any kind of comic books I could get my hands on. If it was horror and science fiction, I was head first into it. I just fell in love immediately. So it was this neat change of being absolutely terrified and having nightmares and like full on paralysis as a kid with some of the terrors. And then going to, okay, now I'm obsessed with this. I need this. Like even today, if I turn on a comfort film in the house, you can guarantee it's a horror or a science fiction. Versus my friends want to come over and they want to watch comedy and action. I'm like, that's kind of boring to me right now. I want to see this. And yeah.
So that the dividing line there was less, it wasn't a particular movie or book. It was your mom sitting you down and having a conversation with you about the effects.
Yeah. That was kind of the dividing line, is her sitting down and like really breaking it down for me.
Okay. Before that dividing line, you said that there was stuff that scared you. Do you remember what those were?
Oh, it was terrifying. I had my godmother was babysitting and she played it. And I remember having nightmares for clowns forever after that. And also, like, as much as I loved Jurassic Park as a kid, I would have dreams that velociraptors were after me.
Same. All the scary monsters and aliens and stuff, that never scared me, because Jurassic Park to me was a real threat, because people are dumb and they will do that shit.
I never got over the fear of aliens. And to this day, it is one of the only horrors that truly freak me out. I'm in love with like the Alien franchise with the xenomorphs and all of that. I actually have a huge xenomorph tattoo.
Nice.
But there's a difference versus, oh, there's aliens in this movie and it's all alien themed. But if you make it an alien abduction film, I am petrified of those. So The Fourth Kind, Fire in the Sky, even Nope freaked me out.
Yeah. Oh, God, that digestion scene.
Yes, that scene particularly, that was so just upsetting for me. And I was terrified of that stuff as a kid. And I'm still, as an adult, I'll be 35 this year and I'm still afraid.
It's understandable. It's like a, powerless thing. Like you're just captive and helpless to do anything about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So clowns for it, what would the connection be for Jurassic Park? Well, maybe you're also powerless against, animals of that size, maybe. Or was there something else about those movies that...
It was the idea that science could turn against me one day, that all these things I loved, because I was a huge fan of biology and like zoology and things like that growing up, the idea that the science could turn against me and come get me. So eventually, like I fell in love with science fiction for those exact reasons. Because I love monster movies in general. You give me a kaiju, you give me a giant spider, and I'm having the time of my life. But for a while there as a kid, that was just frightening, because you're a kid. You don't know that stuff can't happen. You don't know the logistics that go into it. A science lab could release a 40-foot spider one day, and you're not going to hit that thing with a fly swatter. But you don't know that as a kid.
Let's see. For Halloween, you said your mom helped you do some dress up stuff. Did you have a favorite costume?
When you were a kid, that is?
I'm thinking about it. We did so many costumes, and if we couldn't afford them, my mother made them.
Nice.
And I'm trying to pinpoint a favorite. I think her helping me do, was it Abby from NCIS?
Okay.
She helped me dress up as her.
Nice.
She went out of her way to make me this like handmade princess gown, but I didn't want to be a princess because I was a big tomboy and I had scored a Jar Jar Binks mask. And so she made me Princess Jar Jar Binks. So I had to do that for some weird reason as a kid. But she helped me be like vampires and she'd do my zombie makeup.
Yes.
But if I had to pick a costume, just the fact that my mom was willing to give me the nonsense Jar Jar Binks princess thing, that would be it.
Just the idea of
as an adult, she helped me make Elizabeth from Frankenhooker.
Okay.
It's like she helped me hand sew the skirt, help make the bra, sew the little bottle caps in the bra, everything. And then we couldn't afford like fancy special effects makeup, so she went out of her way to get rubber cement and did the old-fashioned way to give me scars and stitches like that. Use a darker tone foundation to make my arms and body parts look a little bit off. Went down to the detail to even giving me like the check mark on the backside. It was silly. I think I was 21 when we made that costume together. And she took me to my first horror convention. It was a Days of the Dead where Patty Mullen was at. And I got to go talk to Patty Mullen and meet her in that costume and tell her how my mom had helped sew it. And we had done as many of the details as we could. And Patty loved it so much. She took a bunch of pictures with us. She went and changed, put her costume on, came back downstairs and took more pictures with us.
Cool.
It was fantastic.
Such a neat moment for my first ever horror convention.
That was your first horror convention?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Not bad. So go back to the childhood thing. How about a least favorite costume?
Oh man, I'm really trying to think.
Usually it's
I loved Halloween so much. We always did like random costumes. I think I did like an army boy once. And it was just like, we just threw some camouflage clothes on me and a little bit of dirt and that was it. So that would probably be my least favorite.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so my mom did what she could to make those days special for us.
Did you have any recurring dreams or recurring nightmares when you were a kid?
I definitely had the getting chased by velociraptors more than once. When I was really little, before my younger siblings had been born, so probably sometime between 4 and 5, I would have reoccurring dreams that the torso my mom had in the closet was going to come get me because she had a mannequin in the closet. And I was terrified it was going to open the door one day and come get me. And so I was small enough at the time, I'd wake up from my dream and I'd go climb underneath her dresser and sleep there because I thought monsters couldn't get me.
Very narrow little space.
Yeah. I was tiny enough to fit under there, and I would try to sleep at the foot of my parents' bed, and my parents would get mad because my dad would wake up and step on me and freak out, rightfully so. So I was like, okay, well, no one can step on me if I'm under the dresser, and the monsters don't know I'm here.
Good old kid logic.
Exactly.
Nice. Let's see. Was there ever a time in your childhood when you were terrified of something in real life?
I was afraid of dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a while as a kid. Big dogs, especially.
It's a common thing.
It's justifiable.
I was afraid because I had an accident with a large dog, and she didn't mean to. And it, like, as an adult, I know it wasn't her fault. Yeah. I was outside at a babysitter's house, and I had slipped in some mud, and she was on a chain, and she started running in circles around me, and the chain had got around my neck.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
And I remember almost passing out and then her suddenly flipping and running the other way. And I got enough air to get away. And I got back in the house and didn't really tell anybody what happened because I thought I'd get in trouble as a kid. But I remember being so afraid of dogs after that. And then seeing like films like Cujo and whatnot, you see those large animals and you're like, okay, now I know why it's so scary to people. Because she was just, I think, a Great Dane. But she was just playing. She wasn't trying to hurt anybody. She didn't understand.
Yeah. Accidents happen.
Exactly.
Big dogs are big.
Flipping that question around, was there ever a time in your childhood when you felt exceptionally calm or safe or at bliss?
In what way? Just in general or in regards to like a horror?
No, in general.
I always felt safe when I was with my parents, with my mom and my stepdad. We moved around a lot. when I was a kid. And so everything was always changing around us. And it was hard getting used to new places and new faces. But I knew I could always be safe at home with them. Nothing would hurt me if they were there. My mother would move everything on the planet out of the way to make sure she protected her kids.
Your mom sounds awesome.
I love my mom. I am definitely like a mom's girl. She is an absolute badass. And I have watched that woman stand up to some scary people to protect her children.
Okay.
She supports everything I do with all my horror and my works. Like, she travels, comes out to conventions sometimes. She shakes people's hand, and she wears buttons of my movies at her job and tells people all about it.
Nice. See, in this one, there's an alien species called the Scrots.
Scroats.
Scroats. Sorry.
Yeah.
Been a while.
No, she tells people about that, and then for some crude humor, if someone comes up and she particularly knows them well enough, somebody came up to her at work and they said, "Oh my God, I love that movie." And she goes, "Yeah, that's my daughter." Nice. And the guy looks at her and goes, "Holy shit, it is." And then he paused for a second and he started turning pink. And my mom laughs at him and goes, "Yeah, it's okay. You've seen my daughter naked."
Yep.
She embarrassed him.
Just instantly picks up on it. Like, no, I know what's going on.
Yeah. Like my parents know all my movies. My mom has come to film premieres and she'll sit with me and she'll haze my movie to me. I get my own. So she's a big fan of Mystery Science Theater when I was growing up. And I have her do Mystery Science Theater of my own movies sometimes. And it's so funny because nobody will know what's going on. And you'll just see me trying not to laugh at a premiere. And it's because my mom has said some unhinged shit in my ear. During, I think it was The Bad Man, we were watching that film. And there's the scene where I'm on top of Jason Crowe's character and I'm getting ready to blow his brains out. And my mother just leans in, and poor Sam Venisi actually heard this because he was in front of us for it. But she leans in, she goes, "Is that what you actually sound like in that?" It's like, "Shut up." She goes, "Man, your character's a bitch."
Thank you.
Well, mission accomplished. The character was that good. She recognized it. She's a bitch.
Yeah, she messes with me about it all the time, and I love her. But she's definitely my biggest supporter in everything I do, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next two questions we're going to ask as a pair. We're going to start with the negative one so we can end on the positive one. Do you remember the first person you hurt?
It would actually have to be probably one of my siblings.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah, always.
If you've got one, that's usually the answer.
Yeah. I've got, how many now? I've got three younger siblings that I grew up with, and I have two older sisters that we learned more about ourselves and after I turned 15. They both have the same father as me, but different mothers. So we'd never grew up together. But my youngest siblings, I remember we had a cat we were all holding, and we're kids, so we don't really understand what we're doing is not okay. And we were gently tossing the cat in each other's hands. When my youngest sister comes over and she like holds out her arms for the cat. And for some reason we tossed the cat and it hit her in the face and clawed her up, and she's got a scar.
Nice.
So that would be one of the earliest memories of hurting someone, would be my little sister. But funny enough, all four of us kids have cat scars on our faces from just different moments in our life. I've got one over my left eyelid where I had a cat slice my eyelid open.
Oof.
Yeah, she's fine. She's asleep next to me. So
I love how you justify the cat's fine. Don't worry about the cat. My eyelid has a scar, but the cat's fine.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, she's fine. She's 17. She can get away with murder at this point.
Yeah. I like the saying that dogs teach loyalty and cats teach consent.
Yeah. I've never heard that. Oh my God. I kind of need that as a button in my life.
Right? I need that as like a crocheted pillow or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
So with is it owning dogs is like owning cats is like having a roommate. Owning a dog is like having a child.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other way around, that, having a dog is like having a roommate, and your cats, dogs view you as a roommate. Cats view you as a staff.
Pretty much.
That pretty much in our house.
Yeah. So the opposite of that question, to end on the positive, do you remember the first person you helped?
I would say real help, probably sometime in high school. I won't put her name out there, but there was a young woman in my high school I was friends with who was going through being assaulted. And we were a safe place for her to come talk about it and to try and get her away from that situation. And unfortunately, we were kids, so there was only so much we could do. And she didn't want adults to be told. She just wanted safe places to go. And so we would come over and we'd stay there. And if that person was going to come visit her family, we would find excuses to have her come stay with us amongst our group. And we just kind of divided that time so she could get away. And eventually she aged out and she was able to move out of that place. But that would have to be the earliest I could think of, was trying to help her through that.
That is a powerful one.
Yeah.
Well, as a bit of a palate cleanser, this is usually where we move into the teen years.
And now a 10-second self-advertising spot. Every Sunday night, I live stream drawing my horror-themed webcomic on our Discord server. If you want to come hang out and watch me draw, there's an invite link on the front page of horrormakesushappy.com. Back to the show.
Can you think of any books or movies or stories that really stood out to you from the horror genre in your teen years?
Laurel K. Hamilton's Vampire Executioner series.
Okay.
I own every book and plan to buy the next one when she releases it.
Actually, have not heard of that one. Now that
I started reading that series in middle school, and so the whole series revolves around the Anita Blake character, who is a reanimator. She brings the dead to life through basically an office setting. You have, let's say you were dealing with someone's will and that person passed away and you needed to finish the will, you'd go to Reanimators Inc. and you'd hire her and she'd bring the zombie out and finish that. But it's a vampire executioner series. So basically they take all these different horror monsters and mythical beings and make them citizens in the world. So you have them fighting for rights to exist. You have hate groups through it. It's a modern take on it all, but it has huge horror elements to it. Constantly battling how she feels about religion, how she feels about intimacy, monsters, whether the monsters in her life should be treated as people, as equals, deserve their rights. Looking at creatures like mythological beings as natural things in biology. So trolls in it are treated as if you were Jane Goodall studying gorillas. So that book series has sat with me forever. And Marvel actually picked it up as a comic book series for the first 3 books. And I own all of those as well.
Maybe that's where it sounded familiar. And I was thinking maybe that's where I heard it from. I might have. Was this pre-96 maybe?
It would have been the book series, yes. The comic books was picked up, I think, more in the 2000s.
Okay. I moved back down to Florida in 96. That's when I kind of got out of the comics. So
that's about when I got ready to move to Florida.
You're not in Florida now, are you?
No. I lived down there for about 5 or 6 years with my family before they moved back to Indiana. And then I've just kind of bounced around to Indiana until I found myself over here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, I didn't expect you to jump to a different state again. Okay.
I'm still technically in Indiana, but no one knows my town, so we just say Louisville. It makes it easier for everyone.
Trying to remember, did I bump into you? I thought I bumped into you at the Indiana, was it Horror Hounds? Because I know I've been to a place in a convention in Kentucky too, but it was a very small one. I don't think I saw you there.
There's a couple down here you might have caught me at. Definitely a Horror Hound because I've been going for quite some time now.
Okay.
All right, so Vampire Executioner. Any others jump out to you from teens?
I'm actually going to grab it because it's right in front of me. The Devil's Auction. It's Robert Weinberg. It was a book I stole from my mother when I was a kid. It definitely held elements of satanic panic, magic, and dark wizardry.
Like it.
Okay.
I dig it.
I used to sneak into her collection of books because she was huge in Stephen King and Dean Koontz. And then she had a lot of different graphic novels, Fangoria magazines, the old heavy metal magazines, all of that.
I love old heavy metals.
That brings back some memories. Was there any particular scene that stood out to you or a character that stood out to you from The Devil's Auction?
It's been so long, but honestly, the beginning of it really stood out for me because it started playing out more like a crime series rather than a horror book.
Okay. Are you a fan of true crime?
I am. I am a big fan of true crime and documentaries and such. I actually own a book that was written by Ted Bundy's survivor.
Oh.
She is still alive, and she actually tours around. I met her at a recent convention that I was a guest for, and we had a one-on-one conversation, and she personalized my book for me that I bought from her.
Wow.
You might actually be the first person that we've had on the podcast who is a horror fan that has said you are also a true crime fan. There's actually been a serious divide at least among the people we've talked to. You know, we've only talked to about 150 people. Granted, that's not a whole lot, but
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people that are,
they want their monsters to not be real.
Exactly. Yeah. That is kind of one of the thing that we usually do at the end of this interview or the end of our interviews is to kind of come up with a summation of what it is you like about horror. And a common one is safe, isolated adrenaline.
Yes.
Sandbox. Yeah. Yeah. So people like their horror to be separate from real life. And yeah, it is common for a lot of people that create and act and are, creatives in the horror business. They're like, I like it to not be real. When it's based in a real fact, that's where it becomes uncomfortable.
See, for me, horror is what helps me get through the real life horror.
Mm-hmm.
I used to not be able to sit and watch films like I Spit on Your Grave.
Mm-hmm.
And it took having to actually know how the films worked and how acting worked for those heavy scenes to really break it down for me. And then it made digesting true crime much easier.
Yeah.
Because you knew the divide, you knew how to separate, you knew what was real and what wasn't. And when it came to looking at the real monsters versus the fake monsters, you could acknowledge that, yes, they were real and you understood them, but they were what created horror. We wouldn't have these fantasies and monster films that we enjoy so much without the real monsters behind them that inspired those creations.
True. Yeah.
Was there a time when you were actually terrified of something in real life as a teen?
I became really afraid of men for a hot minute.
Why? We're all nice guys.
I was in middle school or had just started high school, and I had my first peeping Tom.
Oh, nice!
I lived in the countryside. I was at a friend's house, literally next door, and we were swimming in her pool. And I remember going in her room to change, and I was getting out of my suit, and next thing I knew, there was a man in the window watching me. And I was terrified at night of open windows, like open curtains and blinds, because I kept thinking there would be a man there again. And I still have problems with that today. I keep all my blinds shut at night. All the windows have to be locked and everything. And even if I'm alone or not alone, I am always afraid that I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see a man there.
You ever seen Gerald's Game?
I have seen part of it, but I never got to finish it.
Yeah, I don't.
You ever seen this? Don't do it.
I mean, given what you just said,
yeah.
Well, this is a warning then. Something like that happens in the movie.
I can guess. We actually had it happen in my neighborhood I currently live in.
Oh.
Yeah, we had, they caught a peeping Tom in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah?
Last year or the year before.
People still peep? I mean, there's porn now. Like, a lot of it.
We think 2 houses in the neighborhood had been robbed, and we think that the peeping Tom may have actually been scouting another house. But they did eventually catch the people who had robbed the other 2 houses, and they caught this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he got caught looking in at an elderly couple.
Okay.
So, but
Well,
it terrified
you don't
me
know
forever.
who's in there until you look. So,
Yeah,
All right.
that's fair.
yeah. Flipping that question around, was there ever a time in your teens when you felt completely calm or exceptionally calm, safe, or at bliss?
I would have been right out of my teens. So I would have been like 20. So I wouldn't consider it an adult. I'd consider it a late teen.
Okay.
I had a friend have a medical emergency in my room, and I handled it like a boss.
Okay.
She cut her finger off in my door.
Oh.
So my friends were running to my room to go get a box from under my bed that they thought they were going to dig through and tease me about. And as they're running, they go to close the door and they caught it on the other friend's hand. And they cut the tip of her finger off. And I immediately was like, all right, you go downstairs, get ice, get a bag. We got to pick this up. And I turned to the other friend and said, don't let my cat eat it.
Yeah, right.
that poor friend of mine, he probably looked me in the face and he threw up. And we got her all wrapped up in ice, and we got her in the car. We took her to the hospital, and they were able to reattach it.
Nice.
But it was just in that moment, I was like, everybody stop screaming. Look, we're going to do this right. Go get the ice. Get this in the bag. Don't let the cat eat it. Please don't throw up again. And I'm like 20 years old. So probably the calmest I had ever handled something in my life, it would be that moment.
That's an interesting answer to that question. Like, usually it's like, oh yeah, when we would catch fireflies, or we were in this really nice calm meadow, or I was listening to music. But no, yours is I was able to take charge and get the shit done. It was very zen.
Okay. In that moment, everything in my head turned off. I was like, all right, time to work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been prepping for this. Game time. Let's go.
I've been preparing my whole life for this.
It's like, listen, I'm like in fight or flight mode almost daily of my life, and being able to take charge in dire moments and compartmentalize and be there ready for things has been a huge thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And now a 10-second self-advertising spot. Here at Horror Makes Us Happy, we absolutely believe that word of mouth means more than any advertising campaign of any kind. So if you like what we're doing, please just tell a friend. Now back to the show.
So moving into adult years now, maybe top 2 or 3 things that stand out to you as impactful in terms of either horror movies or books or stories.
Getting to meet the actors who were in my favorite movies as a teen.
Oh, yeah,
so falling in love with obviously Frankenhooker, which I still tell people today that's my favorite horror because
that's so awesome.
I had that awesome interaction with her.
Yeah.
Meeting cast of The Reanimator, which was big in my mother's house.
Oh, I got to meet Jeffrey Combs.
I have. He's so cool. So all of that, falling in love with the Alien franchise, like it's a comfort series for me. And then just diving more into books. As I got older in my adult years, I found myself reading more and exploring more. And then even when I couldn't have time to sit and read a book, I will play an audiobook. Mm-hmm. So Paul E. Cooley, I believe is his name, who does the Black series. It's this almost Lovecraftian goo monster. Think if oil came to life.
Like The Raft? The one segment in Cooch.
Yeah, kind of like that. But it's on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, and it can get out of the water.
Okay.
It's literally, they bring it on board of the rig, and it's eating I found myself reading more books that did not have a good ending.
Yeah.
And I started falling in love more with that, where I would have been terrified before. It's like, oh, these are things that are out of your control entirely. This should be terrifying, but it's exhilarating to read these stories.
How so?
Interesting.
For me, it's being able to let go to read them, which makes them exciting. It's that sandbox thing again. Whereas most films, they end on a happy note or just like at least a cliffhanger to make you suspenseful. No, some of these books I've dived into more and more have just been like, yeah, everybody died and the monster won and the world's going to end. it's this fantasy for it, because that is a frightening thought. You don't want the world to end, but in these books, you almost become this evil god. You're cheering these monsters on.
I
It's
wonder if
haunting.
that has anything to do with like a history of love of horror. Like if you were to just dive into horror and one of the first stories or the first couple of stories you read were a no happy ending story, would it have the same effect? Because it seems like it has that effect because, you've seen so many other horror stories or stories in general where there's a happy ending. So it's almost a breath of fresh air for something different.
Yeah.
But it does beg the question, what would happen if, the first thing you saw was something?
I think I would
no
have
happy
liked the happy endings, Nan.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what it is I have digested so much horror that you can almost sit and, of course, there is a pattern to a lot of horror films and horror novels. You get the idea. It's like, oh, the monster's here. Well, we're going to do this now. And they're going to go this way. Oh,
This
something
one's gonna die
comical
first.
happened. Yeah. But with the almost Lovecraftian endings, you can't guess that because they don't lead you to believe it's got a happy ending. You don't realize that everyone's going to die.
Well, like the ending of The Void,
Yeah.
where they're both just standing there hand in hand in the Lovecraftian void place and just, they might be dead. They might be crossed over to another dimension, but something's going to happen. Who knows?
It leaves more to the imagination for me. I also love movies and books that they leave the character traumatized after, because so many times we see in this that everybody's going to get better, or, hey, this super awful thing happened. Well, movie's over. They're going back to normal. No, they're not. There's trauma. There's PTSD. And I love films that cling on to that.
Yeah.
Because it makes it more real in that moment, because these are broken people now. They got to build back up.
Yeah. So Frankenhooker.
Segue.
That's a great segue.
I mean, yeah, she's a broken person. She's a broken many people.
She's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, no, she was a lot of people.
That's fair.
Still is. They're just, not alive anymore.
Yeah. So what do you like about Excuse me. So what do you like about Frankenhooker?
I love how off the wall unhinged it is. It is a fantastic retelling of the Frankenstein story.
It's got a trauma feel to it.
It does. It has a trauma. It has a full moon feel to it. It's just, who is it that does it? Is it Vinegar Syndrome?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. For me, it was so off the wall silly that you're expecting it to be visceral and gross. But it's so silly and so funny that it's not. And like when the cooler spills over and all the body parts that have melted together come out, you're laughing at the screen. It's because it just makes you want to laugh. It takes you, this is where horror comedy comes in. It gives you these like, holy shit moments, and then it just forces that laughter out of you. It kind of gives you that adrenaline jump, and then you get the dopamine that comes with it. I found it so funny how he just goes across the river, picks up sex workers, and explodes them with super crack.
I love how nonchalant he is about it too. Like, I guess I'll just have to go hookers. Yeah. It's just,
and he's just talking to himself the whole time.
Oh yeah. And the self-dialogue with the oddest accent for a mad scientist ever is as well. He's got like a Jersey accent or a New York accent. Like, it's
Jersey. Because they call him Jersey Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Jersey
yeah, that's right.
Boy here wants to play doctor.
Yeah. It's not your typical mad scientist voice.
No, definitely not. And that's kind of what makes it so much fun, is it's just that out there. I mean, her getting killed by the super lawnmower makes it even funnier that we have those lawnmowers now. There's a remote control lawnmowers, and every time I see one, I just start laughing because I think of that scene.
Clearly, the makers of those lawnmowers did not watch Frankenhooker.
No, they did not.
Or maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe it inspired it.
Hey, we could do that.
Yeah. Ours will be safe, though.
Well, I was going to say the first step is you have to make it.
Yeah.
Then you can go nuts.
Yeah.
So what did you like about the Reanimator?
For the Reanimator, it was the idea of bringing the dead back to life, but not in the grimy graveyard scene. There was no seance or magic. It was this glowing serum that just made it happen, but uncontrolled. He has that desire to bring his creation to life, to prove everybody wrong that he can do this. But it's that thing of, I mean, Jurassic Park asks that question. It's like, should you? If you can do it, should you even?
Yeah.
And I really clung to that. I loved it. I mean, that's another reason to love Jurassic Park.
Mm.
And he's not bringing anything to life. He's just making monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he doesn't know that
fell in love with the book too.
Oh, was there a book in it? Oh, wait.
Yeah, The Reanimator. There's a book.
Yeah, it's Lovecraft, now that I think about it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah, I am, as awful as Lovecraft was, I am
Yeah.
still a fan of the universe he helped create.
Separate
And-
the artist from the art. It's how I
Yes,
still enjoy Neil Gaiman. And
He's very dead, so
so-
it's easy to do it.
yeah.
Neil Gaiman, unfortunately, that one crushed me. I'm a big Sandman fan.
Yeah, I was
And-
not happy either.
No, and I will cling to the happiness that Sandman brought me with Delirium and with Death and with Dream. I actually have figurines for the characters throughout my house.
Nice.
But unfortunately, I can no longer purchase his books, much like I can't purchase J.K. Rowling stuff for the exact same reasons. I cannot allow myself to enjoy it anymore.
It's worse for me for Gaiman because, like, the art that he created, like, you knew. Speaking to him, it's like, you knew better.
Yeah. 1,000 times he knew better. He created worlds that required consent, that it was good versus evil, and he was writing all of these stories to teach us and help us, and many of us just use these stories to grow from traumas. Like with Delirium, she used to be Delight, and then he did all that. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, silver lining wrapped in a bit of sad recent news. He wasn't the only creator, apparently. Sam Keith was co-creator of Sandman.
Yes.
I just recently learned.
I can cling to that. We did lose him, but I can cling to knowing that while Neil Gaiman had a lot to do with the Sandman, he is not the only artist to be proud of.
Exactly.
So I can be happy with all the other artists and the world he created, but I just don't support him. And with Lovecraft, he was a raging xenophobic racist.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, as you read his books and you really think about that, you realize what his stories are truly about. However, the artists and authors who have taken it and built upon it, they make the Lovecraftian universe what it is today. And that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, how can I say this? It's not just compartmentalized. It's, divorced from or abstracted from. He was abstracting it, first of all.
Yes.
And so to just continue in that path allows us to enjoy the abstraction as abstract without having to.
We don't have to look at it for what it really was for him. We can actually look at it as, no, these are monsters. These weren't people.
Although,
these weren't
now that I've
based
used
on
that
people.
phrasing, maybe I should step back and say it is also worth. I said enjoy it without having to think about, but it's also important to think about for other reasons. But that's a separate topic.
Oh yeah, it's important to remember why he did it, where he was coming from, but to know that he was wrong.
Yeah.
And we can appreciate Cthulhu and Sloggoth, all of the monsters for what they are to us, not what they were to him.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me think. Where were we in the questions?
Teenagers, weren't we? Halloween.
No,
Did you dress up as Halloween?
Adult. We're a young adult. Yeah.
Well, for adult, you already mentioned Elizabeth from Frankenhooker's being your favorite costume. Did you have a least favorite costume for adult years?
Oh, this should be it.
When I would go out with friends and they all picked their elaborate costumes, we would cosplay little group things together. And my friends all really wanted to do Disney villains. And they wanted to do horror versions of Disney villains for Horror Hound. And I was like, cool. What does everyone pick so I know what to go with? And they picked all the good ones and left me with nothing fun. So instead, I decided to be Elsa.
Okay.
Who got the shit kicked out of her by the villains. So we bloodied me up. We put prosthetics on me.
And this was your least favorite costume?
Yeah, because I've done some really cool costumes.
Oh,
That's probably like one of my least favorites that I've done. Like if as an adult, like if I think about the coolest costumes I've done, I did Greta Gremlin.
Oh,
the girl Gremlin.
Oh shit!
Yeah, nice. I did. We had a bodysuit. We airbrushed. We did prosthetics on the face. I made the ears. Nice. I had green hair.
I gotta find this.
It was great. I did it also in my burlesque troupe I used to be in. I dressed up as her and I sang New York, New York. And I was having a bad day. So like after we were done, I went outside and I'm smoking a cigarette because I am looking at
exactly that picture right now. That is
me and my spiked leather jacket as Greta smoking a cigarette.
I love the jacket too. And all the spikes are green.
Yeah, I hand painted every single one of those spikes.
Wow.
Cool. Anything terrify you in real life as an adult?
Aliens.
Yep.
Aliens.
You know they're real now. The government's going to release all that information.
Every time one of my friends is like, "Hey, did you read that article?" I'm like, "No." Well, why not?
I didn't. It doesn't exist. And shut up. Also, shut up.
Like the government says aliens exist. I'm like, I don't care. No, they don't. No, they don't. I don't want to. Yes, exactly. I've got my fingers in my ears.
I think it's
alien abduction stuff still scares the tar out of me.
Yeah, for the same reason I imagine the lack of control and powerlessness. Yeah.
The idea of getting abducted and taken into space where you cannot escape.
Mm-hmm.
Like in space, no one can hear you scream, and I live.
There it is.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So flipping that one around, a time in your adult life when you felt exceptionally calm or safe or at rest.
Much how I felt really safe with my parents. I feel very safe with my husband. I know I'm safe wherever I go with him because he's helped me out of some scary situations. Mm-hmm. I had a very scary fan stalk me at a convention to the point that he got in my car.
No.
And
no. Hello.
Yeah, my husband was just my friend at the time, and we were going to grab some more alcohol for the convention we were at. And we get in the car to leave, and this guy gets in the back seat, and he thought he was a friend of mine, and I am terrified. So I am not saying anything. Yeah. We get to the liquor store, and the guy gets out of earshot enough for me to whisper what's happening. And he goes, "Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "How am I supposed to tell you? He's in the back seat. He could do anything." But we all get back in the car and he leans back and he goes, "All right, dude, tell me where your car's at. I'll drop you off." He goes, "No, I was going to go back to the party with Alyss." He said, "No, you're not."
Nope.
He opened his mouth to protest and my husband pulled out a knife and he said, "Where's your car, dude?" And so he told him what parking lot and he dropped him off at the front of the parking lot.
I will ask you once and then I will ask you with a knife. Yep. Where's your car?
Yep. He dropped him off so he wasn't abandoned, so he wouldn't try to come at me with I dropped him off somewhere. And then he stayed close to me for the rest of the weekend and he's kept me safe so many times. He's been my personal security when I go places. We jokingly have a security shirt for him when we go.
Nice.
And it's funny because in the burlesque troupe I was with, he even joined the burlesque troupe as security for that to keep other performers safe. And so they made him a shirt and it says, instead of security, it says secure a titty.
Yeah.
And he goes by Frankie G online, but in the burlesque troupe, they kept calling him Frankie G Spot. So that was his name for it. But he's my safe place. He makes me feel safe and happy and welcome, and he supports everything I do. And he has healed more traumas than he knows.
Cool.
He's helped me in so many ways. It's insane. He's also kept me modeling. He's my main photographer. So anytime you see me post something that says Frankie G Still Photography, that's him.
Okay.
But yeah, he's my safe place as an adult. He's who makes me feel calm.
Good. Nice. I can kind of relate. I was a bartender, and as a matter of fact, that's how I know Chris. He was DJing at a club that I used to bartend at, and it's kind of funny that I kind of got into it a little bit later in life, and so I wound up being friends with a lot of the customers that I had, and then whenever we would go hang out outside of the bar, I wound up being sort of like, you know, what's the phrase? Troop mom, but it was troop dad. No, I was like wrangling cats.
That's how he is.
Yeah.
We'll go out to bars and clubs. There's a local gay bar we went to, and we're just out there dancing, and people thought he was security at the bar. So they actually came to him for help with situations, and he's like, I don't work here, but I'll help you. What's up? And anytime we'd be out with a group of friends, if someone felt uncomfortable or something was upsetting, they'd go to him, and he takes care of everybody.
It's funny. I have done security at bars, and it's like one of those things where it's like once you've done it, it's hard to stop doing it.
He's never done it. He's never been a bouncer, and he just straight up looks like a bouncer.
Get the look.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just about the look. It's about the habits of, keeping your eyes out and,
stands there with his arms folded in his cargo shorts and his black hat and black shirt.
Not on the list.
Taking care of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this pair of questions again, going to start with the negative so we can end on the positive. Do you remember the last person you hurt?
I made a friend cry after venting to them about being unhappy in a relationship. As I've said through this, obviously I'm married. I have another partner. I live a poly lifestyle, and I was dating a young woman that was not going well. And she got a new boyfriend who threatened to hurt me, and it ended very badly. And one of our friends that was there, I turned to her in a fit of rage and vented, but I vented so aggressively, I scared her and I made her cry.
Oh.
And I felt terrible that I had done that. And I did apologize to her the same night. I was like, I'm so sorry. That was unfair to vent to you like this. I did not mean to scare you or make you cry. And she understood. She knew I was rightfully angry, and I was frightened because a man had threatened to hurt me that I had just met. But she would be the last one I could really think of that I hurt.
It was good that she was quick to understand that, it was just a moment thing.
Yeah, the feelings were high and everybody had been drinking. So it made it to where I just turned around and I was yelling. I was so upset.
Yeah.
And it had frightened her because I had never talked like that ever around her.
Oh, yeah.
She had never seen me truly upset.
Yeah, can relate. Don't know if I want to go into it at the moment. Flipping that question around, do you remember the last person you helped?
My little sister went through some things I won't dive into, and she needed a place to go. And I moved her in with me, and she lived here for almost a year, but I made sure that she stayed alive because she wasn't sure if she wanted to go through things anymore. And so she stayed here, and I took care of her like I was her mom. And she's doing much better now. She's got a little baby now, and she lives with her wonderful boyfriend and his 2 kids and is living her happy, sober mom life.
Good.
I would say that definitely counts for the last person you helped. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very wholesome.
So the next question is going to be over your entire life and not just about horror. Could be any genre. What movie have you watched more times than any other?
Shit. It's a toss-up. It's not just one. It's a toss-up between the Alien franchise or the Jurassic Park franchise.
Okay.
Because I literally can turn either of those on and be content for the whole day and just marathon all of it. But I'll probably lean more. It's probably Alien.
Okay.
I don't care how many times I've seen that movie. I am always happy to see it on.
Normally we ask because either it'll do one of two things. Either you'll mention something that hasn't come up early in the conversation and give us a chance to talk about that, or it underscores something you've already mentioned, in this case, the latter. Normally we then follow up by asking, okay, is that your favorite movie, or would you consider something else to be your favorite movie? You mentioned Frankenhooker earlier. Would you consider that your favorite, or is there something else that you'd pick at this point?
I will always say that Frankenhooker is my favorite horror, but Alien is my favorite science fiction.
Okay.
And whereas it's still technically horror, it's easy for me to separate the two in my brain as it is science fiction. But I am obsessed with the movies, the video games, the comic books, and the novels. I love that whole universe and everything it's built. So when it comes to science fiction, like those movies are my happy place because I can not only digest it in film, I can get the audiobooks. I can visually see it in the comic books. I can read it. I can see the artwork, and I love it so much. I mean, that's why I have a big xenomorph on my hip.
Yep.
Do you see any common threads about what kind of horror you like? Cannibalism, occult, metaphysical, maybe in this case, crossing over to sci-fi?
I really love monster horror. So
Okay.
anything kaiju, anything science fiction, giant bugs, lizards, frogs, any Lovecraftian especially, but aquatic monsters. I really wish I could see more of those.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I wonder if there's something about aquatic monsters specifically that is of interest to you.
There
And when
is.
you brought up, do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you want to share
I have a big thing for aquatic monsters. So I have a touch of thalassophobia.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's so far down.
I work on it more and more. Every time I go to the beach, I make myself swim out a little bit further and a little bit further.
Good for you. I get to the point where if I can't feel the bottom and it starts getting really cold, back. I'm done.
One of the last times I went out, I rented a paddle board and I went way past the second sandbar all by myself.
Ooh.
And that was the farthest I'd ever been in the ocean.
Okay. The reason that I brought up the water-based stuff, I was going to bring up Black Lagoon again. I haven't seen it myself, but from what I recall, and I think I read a summary of it at one point. I thought there was some sort of like it was played up as like a love interest in, I think, some of the marketing, but from when I read the story, it didn't really seem like it was that was reality. Maybe it was just kind of angled that way, for lack of a better way to say it. I'm guessing you've seen the movie, so maybe you can correct me.
The fans will tell you he just wanted
Right.
a lady because he's supposedly the last one and he's all by himself. But essentially, it's just their boat goes into his lagoon and he's just defending his territory and just keeps taking the pretty woman back to his cave. He never really tries to hurt her, and it has this love story element to it, but she's just terrified and frightened. She has no interest in him other than, oh my God, it's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just wondering if you thought there was some element of that involved in your interest in aquatic stuff or not.
There is a monster fetishism, of course, and Creature from the Black Lagoon falls under that.
Doesn't sound like it's a strong element, though. You're kind of like, eh.
It's like, how do I play this down? It's like the Creature from the Black Lagoon is a monster fetish. I definitely enjoy his character, and I enjoy fan fictions for him. Ratting myself out there. I wear a patch on my vest and stuff at conventions that says "Monster Fucker" because I love my
Nice.
I love my monster smut, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon is totally part of that.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I was curious.
I was like, well, I talk about it openly anyway at conventions because like I said, I wear my Monster Fucker patch, and someone called me out on it one day, and I was like, I have monster smut. Leave me alone.
Look, if you're gonna wear the pen, just own it.
I'm not alone here. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
No, no shame. No, not kink shaming. Thought I would ask.
How dare you kink shame me on this podcast?
Not at all. So this would be the spot where we kind of talk about common themes that keep coming up, and then maybe spend a little time talking about why those themes might be important to you. Well, first of all, let's talk about what I'm seeing and see whether or not I'm accurate or if you think I'm off the mark here. But so something that has come up before on this podcast is that there's sort of two ways to approach not just horror fandom, but fandom of all kinds of different things. But it either comes down to joy-based or fear-based. And you're kind of interesting in that it sounds like there's actually a strong element for both for you. Potentially more on the fear-based. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about coping, prep, things being out of your control, monsters, accidents happen, some things being intentional, there being, stalkers and whatnot. But there's the joy-based side of it is, time spent with your mom, getting the background on this, time spent with your partner, or plural. Familial connections, you've expressed how those are important to you. Also, for example, the situation with your sister. So it's kind of interesting that you've got a fairly good balance of the two, but potentially leaning more towards the fear-based, although that is understandable because that's reality, being prepared for all kind of bullshit that can happen in real life. I guess the first question I would have is, do you think that that's accurate in terms of describing what you get out of horror? Or do you think I've missed the mark on something? Or do you think there's something
I think you're fairly close. Horror does provide a safe way to digest a lot of realities for me, but there is the fear of those realities that makes it easy to enjoy them. But I do get a lot of joy out of it. Like you said, just thinking about breaking down the films and how they work and working on sets for I've been doing this a little over 10 years now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I realized it recently. I was like, I've been doing this a long time. Holy crap.
No, I just didn't ooh for something else. I just had a connective synapse click. To go back to the kink thing for a moment.
All right.
Controlling the fear of lack of control by
controlling the monster.
Dominating the monster, if you will.
Yeah.
Power bottoming the monster.
Listen here. I am a switch. Thank you very much. I can be either way.
Versatile. It's very versatile.
Power bottoming the monster. I need a shirt now that says
right? That needs to be on a shirt and a button, just everything. Bumper sticker.
It's funny that you mentioned that because Chris and I have joked for a long time that we've got a list of quotes that we've been saving from this podcast to make a t-shirt with a bunch of quotes. That's going on the quote shirt.
Yes.
100%.
I want one of those shirts when you're done.
Really need to do that. I need to check the list to see how long it is to see,
we might need a couple of shirts.
Yeah, I think we're up to a good 10 or 15 quotes.
Mm-hmm. It'll make it fit. It'll be fit. Just go down the sleeves, make it a long sleeve shirt.
There you go.
Well, yeah, that too. Front and back.
That's great.
So normally the follow-up here would be, why is this, if these are accurate assessments, then why are those things important to you? In your case, that seems maybe kind of self-evident, more than some of the other conversations we've had with other guests. But I guess, not to put any words in your mouth, do you want to speak to that for a moment, or go to the next question?
Horror saved me. I can really say that happily. It allowed me to experience and relive moments that were traumatic in real life in a safer environment and process them. It was therapeutic in some ways.
Took the word out of my mouth. Yep.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic that way.
Yeah.
Cathartic almost.
Yeah. So then the follow-up to that normally is, why horror? Because couldn't it be some other genre? In your case, it sounds, well, the first thing is, well, not only that, but you've got the familial connection with your mom. So there's that base of, this is the family I was brought up in.
Mm.
Yeah. If I had been raised around more action or comedy or chick flicks, then it would probably be more along the lines of those, but I just wasn't.
Well, you did mention sci-fi, so
science fiction and horror. Just that's all I really ever wanted to continue watching. I mean, you get the occasional, I enjoy Disney. There is some lighthearted in my life. I enjoy a good Disney movie, but every time I pick something, it's got to be horror or sci-fi. That's
another thing I was thinking about saying earlier, is that there have been a handful of guests who have had both the fear and the joy based, and for a lot of these, it does also seem like the joy is a balance or check on, when things get too dark, it's like, okay, I'll throw on Frankenhooker and laugh.
Yeah, I had to do that recently. There was a security update for a platform that I work with, and they were letting everyone know that if you ran an Amazon wish list, Amazon might accidentally be giving out your address to people.
Oh, good.
And having had stalkers and a peeping Tom, your actual address.
Yay.
That happened this week, and I was going to be home alone that night. My husband and his other partner are on tour with their band over in North Carolina, and I got the update news, and I freaked out. I shut down all of my Amazon stuff immediately. I was terrified because fans occasionally have sent me stuff, and I was petrified that my address was out there. And so, normally, where I would just still enjoy horror on my own, I couldn't do it. Because all I could think about was, I'm going to get my adrenaline going and I'm going to be terrified. I'm going to think that somebody's outside. I have a security system that I can watch and keep myself safe. But I was just so haunted at the idea. So I had to do, I did horror comedy as the middle ground for that. I watched, was it Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, which is not scary in the slightest. It's silly and stupid.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, or watch Freaks. Like, the horror and science fiction elements are still there, but I'm not afraid. And it's not going to trigger that fight or flight reflex in me. It's just going to make me laugh. So I was able to deal with the scary moment of, oh my God, this could be out there, and relax for the evening.
Good luck with that, given the situation.
And now I'm afraid again.
Yes.
Just keep an eye on those cameras.
Yeah.
Well, I think for your situation, we've got a pretty good picture of why it is that you like horror. And I guess really at this point, last question is there anything that you thought of earlier in the call that you didn't get a chance to say? Maybe, thought of something and the conversation took a left turn?
With horror, like I said, it has always been a part of my life. But the newest stage I'm taking with it is creating horror. I've been working on getting behind the camera rather than in front of it.
Nice.
And bringing
a perfect segue into what I was going to ask next.
and bringing one of my actual nightmares to life. I wrote a short that we are looking at trying to produce. We're focusing on producing someone else's short first. But yeah, I want to bring one of my real nightmares to life.
I'm curious, but hesitant because no spoilers kind of thing. I don't know how much you want to give away.
It's about a young woman who just gets on a forum, a chat room to unwind and enjoy herself. And she's getting harassed in it, only to find out that the person harassing her is in her home the entire time.
I almost said the chat is coming from inside the house.
Really, that's where it comes from. And during the height of COVID, I had it, and it was giving me these like intense visuals and horrible nightmares. And the whole time in the dream, I kept hearing the song "Run Rabbit Run" playing over and over in a loop, and that's kind of the song that really helped make it happen. So there's already a movie called Run Rabbit Run. So we've just been
I was laughing about
Rabbit.
Another Alyss connection.
Yeah, I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan, and she tends to find her way into my work quite often.
I wonder why.
Ironically, though, I am a bigger fan of American McGee's Alice, if you're familiar.
I personally am not. What Chris sounds like you know about that one.
It's a video game. It's like a darker version of Alice in Wonderland. She's got a knife. And she's
crazy. She's hallucinating in an asylum.
I think maybe I have heard of this or seen something about it, but it's been a while.
There's two of them.
Cheshire Cat is great.
Cool. Well, like I said, I think we got a pretty good summary for you, and you've already shared what you're currently working on. We'll get together with you offline, put together a bio page, and link to whatever it is that you want to link to.
Awesome.
Again, thank you for your time. Awesome conversation. And thank you to everybody out there listening. If you want to know more about what Alyss is up to, just go to horrormakesushappy.com, go to the episodes page, find Alyss's link, and that'll take you to the bio, and you go from there. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff.